Right. Bit of an experiment. Because I was thinking to myself, the irony of drinking from my Twitch bottle while on YouTube, but there we are. So I'm trying to work out, I said I was going to experiment and do like a Twitch stream one day, not from this week, but from next week, a Twitch stream one day and then a YouTube stream another day. But then I'm sort of thinking, yeah, but should I do exactly the same thing or should it be different things? And somebody did say about tech reviews. Well, that might be an idea. But for today, I just thought, well, why not have like camera off? Okay, right, this camera's here. Hello. But in principle, camera off. I can't see my hand appearing on the preview, having said that. So maybe nothing's coming through. Oh, there it is. Bit of a time delay my end. But yeah, this is something I wanted to do anyway. What I'm showing you on screen, I've just bought this. And in fact, can I hide that? No, I can't, because that's going to throw me now. I've got a time delayed preview on the screen. So I'm going to have to work out a way to do this. To have pop-out chat, yeah, okay. So yeah, I can put pop-out chat. That's better. That's much better. Yeah. Because otherwise what was happening, you can't see my screen and all of my Twitch home comforts aren't here either yet on YouTube. What I was seeing was basically a video stream of me but a minute ago, but right in front of me. So when I was trying to say, I was just trying to say, look at this is what I bought today, and I was completely thrown. Because I was like, it's not moving. It's not where I put it. Oh, it's a minute ago. So yeah, I bought this online a couple of days ago. It's just a breadboard for building circuits. I confused Dad because I said I'm buying a breadboard and he's a baker, of course, by trade. So he, of course, I'm saying, I know that, you don't know that. So he said a breadboard. I said, no, it's. We were all saying, me and Mum, no, it's not what you think. It's a prototype board for building circuits on, basically. If anybody ever did an electronics club, you'll have seen one of these. You'll have seen more than one of these, actually. But this little board on the end is separate, available separately. It's by somebody called, is it Dave Mottram? Something like that. But he's basically made his own circuit boards that would be useful to their team. But then is also selling them, and this is quite cool because I didn't realise it had two separate outputs actually. So the way that the breadboards work is you put components in this middle bit, and then there's power rails at the top. So one of these holes at the top, I'm going to have to explain this now, quickly. The camera's upside down. No, well yeah, but I thought it was at 8. On 8, yeah, Emmerdale o'clock. Didn't tell anyone I was going to stream because I wasn't. It's just a test experiment, but you're more than welcome to chat. So yeah, the way these work is that these holes along the top row, there's groups of 5 there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's groups of 5. But all of the holes along that top row are all connected together by metal. So it's a power rail. You can get power off that rail by connecting some wires. This is not a tutorial on how to use breadboards, but anyway. So this little circuit board then has pins that go straight into that rail, and it makes it really convenient then, because in theory you can connect a mains adapter to that then, and rather than having to use a battery or a benchtop power supply, which I haven't really got room for a benchtop power supply. Yeah, so Argos mains adapter that I got for another project, and it didn't actually work. Gets a bit of a second life today. Look at that chunky thing. Ridiculous now. There's my Argos receipts. Argos barcode on the side, look. So yeah, like I said, I thought this could be, potentially the YouTube streams could be streams that I don't necessarily want to be on camera for. I mean, I don't mind being on camera, as you've seen on Twitch. I've kind of got used to it now. But streams where I'm doing top down stuff, like, you know, top down, literally, cameras pointing down at the table, tutorial stuff where maybe I don't want to be interrupted. That sounds odd because I've said you can chat. No, chat doesn't interrupt. But you know, I don't. It was fantastic last night. I still haven't got over it in some ways. But you know, there's going to be no flashy sub alerts or anything. So I'm just testing out the form, I guess, seeing if this is how I want to do it. It might not be. So it's the first thing I'm going to do is find the right tip to go into here. I thought this one would work, but I'm not sure. I'm not entirely convinced it's the right one. Don't break it the minute I get it, because that's taking some force to push in. So maybe it's we need the bigger one. Let's see if that. Oh yeah, that takes a lot less forcing. So I think I was right there. And then this needs to be set to 12 volts. So there. Stop. That was on camera. Sort of an unusual style of mains adapter. I basically needed it quickly. This was the only one that was available. It was quite pricey, so it's good to use it again. There are a lot cheaper ones, but I've had to wait for them to be delivered. And then I ended up not using this one anyway, so yeah. Now then. A bit of mains power. So there's a plug under the desk. Plug that in there. It's not turned on yet. Because to test these LED light strips, I'm going to need 12 volts. So the way you do that on this board is by changing this little jumper. There's a little plastic bit with a metal bit inside, and you move that over according to which pins you want. So that bottom one is in the middle, see there? And then, what was that? No, it's slightly out of focus, but yeah. Could the Logitech Stream Cam get a second life because it's got autofocus? I don't know. So yeah, now what happens now, because I've set that to 12 volts, that top row is going to be 12 volts, the row immediately below it's going to be ground, and yeah, this is not planned either. Loosely in my head about 2 seconds before I went live, but yeah. I got these LED light strips for inside the computer. Camera's further away than I think it is. Let's move the seat closer. I got these LED light strips. They were meant to be going in the computer. They didn't work. Although, what I noticed is that sometimes the because it comes with an RF remote control, so radio rather than it's not infrared. That's just a light that comes on, and apparently sometimes they can get unpaired. You know, like Bluetooth things pair. There's the RF actual. That's so right. That plugs into the computer power supply. That's the actual controller for the LEDs, and this is the remote that controls this. And then these plug in to there, right? And these are just LED strips, pretty standard ones. But yeah, so sometimes they say, oh, they can come unpaired, so I've tried everything, but I just can't get it. I've measured with a multimeter, got multimeters handy. I measured that there is 12 volts coming from this to the LED strip, but the strips aren't turning on. And nothing I do with the remote is making them turn on. So I thought, well, okay, I'm in dialogue with the seller. I shouldn't have to pay to prove this. They haven't asked me to pay to prove this. I just fancied having a little mini electronics test bench. It's just one of those things that occurred to me. It's like, oh, do you know what? It'd just be really handy if I could just plug it into a breadboard right now, and yeah. And I used to have one. I've got one lying around somewhere. But I also used to have a little electronic. I think that's what's on my mind as well. I built up a little electronics kit that took me years to build up as a kid, and unfortunately, it was in storage, and the storage was broken into. And so perhaps what's on my mind is just that, and they literally left no box unripped including my little mini electronics cabinet, which just had nonsense in it. You know, it wouldn't even be useful now, but that's not the point. The point is finding it. All 16 little trays, upturned, flip-turned upside down. And as far as I can tell, as far as we can tell, they didn't take anything. So either what they hoped to find in that lockup wasn't there, or they just intended to ransack the lockup. I don't know. It's emptying it now. We've emptied it and everything's back in the house. But yeah, not without it being completely dishevelled. Now I don't know. It's pure chance if these fit. Look at that. Right, so what I can do. I didn't explain that with the breadboard either. This isn't an official YouTube video. This is just a stream, right? If it was an edited video, I'd be explaining it better. So the power rails go all the way across the top, and then these ones down here, the way this works is that each line of 5 pins downwards, not across like the other ones, each line of 5 pins downwards is connected together. So, and there's this gap in the middle, and that's deliberate. So there is a gap there. So it's these 5 pins and these 5 pins. There's a break in the middle there. So the intention there is you can put an integrated circuit across the middle. Intention always used to be, and then the pins on one side. There's pins on one side, pins on the other side, and obviously you don't want them connected together because they're separate pins, right? Anyway, but what that means is I can put that in there, maybe there actually, and then connect an LED strip to it, and then I can connect other wires to. I'm hoping that's making a good connection. It's gripping it, so we'll see. But then I can connect this to there and see what happens. So on this strip, we want. I'm basically testing the strips to see if the strips work without the controller. And that should be possible to prove by just putting 12 volts on one side and grounding any of the other colours. There we are, that's my test bed. There's my strip. Just leave it like that. There's nothing's in contact with any metal. There's a metal mixing desk there, so that's great. But yeah, that'll do. Should be able to see if it lights up from there. And then we've got jumper wires. So it's literally like a logic puzzle. Part of this is just I wanted to capture it for myself. It's fun. I haven't done electronics in years. So let's have a red one, as we've got the luxury of different colours. So we want to go from the power rail. You can go from anywhere because that whole top row is all connected together. You can go anywhere you like, really. And then I'm going to connect that to the positive side. It's the positive pin. That light strip, which I think is that one. Yeah, that one. Okay, so yeah. Does that make sense? Not free. Yeah, maybe. So I'm connecting the positive power from that top rail. The rail goes across horizontally to that column of pins there. So then all I have to do is connect one of them to ground. It's up to me, I guess, which one I connect to ground. Because this is going to be me just testing it, so what might have made sense actually is to do this the other way around, so I could see which pins I was putting in. That would make a lot more sense, Jim. Talking to myself in third person, like. So let's put that there. There we go. That should do it. And we'll put that in there. Oops. It's a bit upside down how you'd normally do it, but see it better. So jumper wire is positive, and then we're going to ground. So I can take this from anywhere on this rail. Might as well do it from there. So that's now ground, and then I'm going to basically touch that one, that one, that one. See if the LED's light. Probably need a bit less LED light from above in that case. Let's do that. electronics test bench. Cool. Cool as that. Is that in all the way? No. A bit wobbly. And it was the cheapest one I could find on eBay. They do say get good quality breadboard, so. Anyway, right. Not against metal. So I guess the first thing is to turn it on and check that the power supply is actually giving out the voltage it says it's giving out. So you can try that. Multimeter from eBay, yonks ago. Voltage. Can I lay that there so you can see it while I'm doing this? Yeah, there we go. Right, so voltage, we want it on, it's going to be 12 volts, we need it up to 20 volts. Not good, is it? Not hugely accurate. The multimeter's gone wrong already. It's got a stuck pixel. That's good. When it's on 0, 8 comes up. It's just got like a stuck pixel somehow. Something's got stuck in there. I've gone wrong. Great start. Anyway, okay, 12 volts is higher than that. I'll sort that out. Definitely a flaw there. Yeah, because I can see from my angle, it's not so obvious, but I can see that middle bar in what looks like an 8 is much darker than the rest. There's a short circuit inside this multimeter somehow. Just frustrating. So, turn the power on. Ooh, it's got little LEDs on this. Can you see that? Very cool. That's very switched, and it's got a switch there. So, yeah, I like that. I do like that. Okay, so first things first is to check. Although I trust it, if they've gone to the effort putting the LEDs on, I tend to trust. I'm going to go see if there's 12 volts between those pins. We need to get another jumper wire then, maybe. Let's see if there's 12 volts between the two jumper wires. And yes, there is. No, 12.01. Close enough. So, let's say we want that one. 12 volts in that side. That's handy, having a little switch, because it says with switch in this eBay listing. Okay, turn the power on and off, and then I'm going to ground with this basically. So that all seems fine, as I say, apart from a multimeter needs a bit of TLC. Oh, Okay, moment of truth then. Well, I don't know if 12 volts is going through to the LEDs, actually, I haven't said that, but it won't be. Right, the theory goes that if you manually ground... Oh, camera's frozen as well. Ah, oh well. Starting it. Is it going to come back? Yeah, there we go. Weird. Right, so going to turn it on, and then, as I say, theory goes that if you apply 12 volts across from the positive pin to either of the coloured pins, then that colour should light up. So it's a manual way of doing it. So in other words, I'm not using the controller that came with it. I'm just testing to see if the strip actually works. Hopefully it doesn't just burst into flames. That'd be quite bad. Ah, no, see? There we are. So the strips are fine. It's just the controller then. I think that's pretty conclusive proof. Red and blue. Right. So yeah, I just can't get the controller to light them up. So there we are. Proof. Ta-da! All of that eBay buying, all of that prelude to basically like 3 seconds of testing. I now know that the controller is not having it for some bizarre reason. It's just not working. So yeah. At least I can report that, because I said I got a multimeter out, so yeah. That multimeter though, it's annoying. It's going to keep annoying me. Because I'm sure it was working fine. So okay, part 2. That works. Chuffed with that. Gonna unplug that and put that safe then. That's cool. Very happy with my new test bench. Yeah, multimeter, what's going on? I just not noticed that before. Or, I mean, there is something a little bit shaky in there. Is it just like a screw's gone underneath or something? That's what I'm wondering. Entirely possible. Try that, yeah, that'll do it. I'm not an expert at multimeter repair. But we can get a blower at least under the LED and no, okay. That's one. Two. Not out yet. No. Yeah, those screws just want to stay in there. That's fine. You can stay in there as long as you don't disappear afterwards. Right. Doesn't look bad, but I don't know if you can see the thing that actually connects the circuit board to the LCD is that pink thing there. And sometimes that can like shift. I remember old calculators where even the active opening this might have fixed it. No, okay, maybe not. So even just like massaging it, for want of a better word, might. Yeah, see, like the mains voltage warning is coming up. That might be deliberate, I don't know, because it was 600 volts. So yeah, just pressing that strip might do it. Might break the whole thing. Let's try that. Guess it's a bit of dust. Nope. I've only just got this, relative terms. It's so frustrating. So it could be anywhere along that length. The connector's not right. Doesn't look like it's lined up perfectly. There's the other one, right, there's all four of those. This might be a prelude to me getting another multimeter. I'm not careful. Let's put those in there. Right, let's see if relieving the pressure on that connector has done anything. Probably just turn off the screen if anything. Yeah, see? Can you see that now? It's all over the place now. But, I mean, at least that... Swearing at me. Right. But you can see it's... Let's do that. It's, oh, that maybe that's what it's calling me for having the audacity to fiddle with it. Let's... So yeah, I haven't got my Twitch home comforts. I'd be drawing on the whiteboard at this point. But that little ribbon connector is like a line of wires in a way, if you like, between the circuit board and doesn't want to come out. There you go. So, the inner workings of a multimeter. Right. That there has got lots of little lines on it. A little pink bit. And they're obviously not lined up properly. Oh, they're just not contacting properly. All if that was the case. I mean, cleaning the contacts maybe would work. Paper. So I hadn't planned this. Bed and some IPA. So IPA is alcohol, but you can't drink it. It's special alcohol for cleaning electronics, but it's just alcohol, pure alcohol. So let's clean that. It might not even work, but we've committed now. Committed to this unwiseness. Because you use alcohol, not water. Electronics, partly because it evaporates, partly because it's not water. Water doesn't like to mix with electronics, so yeah. Don't know if cleaning that carbon thing will help. It's only the metal that will benefit. If there's other problems underneath them, I'm stuffed anyway. So okay. This is probably just all have gone completely wrong now. End up displaying just the wrong things. Right, so you've got to bend down the back first somehow. Let's see. Get those screws in first. So that's how it came out. Trying to bend the circuit board too much. Not sure if that's right. No, that's not contacting at all. With the screen. So, may or may not be. Tighten up the back ones afterwards. Oops. Yeah, poking the screwdriver through the LCDs now. Probably not going to be a success story, is it? Okay, so it needs to clamp the screen quite tough. Push that down a bit more so it's contacts with the slider properly. Screws rounding a bit, that's not good, is it? Right, moment of truth. Look at that! I can't believe that. I thought I was just going to be saying, well, it was only £4 anyway, I've broken it. But look! You watch now, it won't display 8. I don't really know. I don't have any way of testing whether... Oh, no, 5. 5 worked. So 8 will work. Look at that. You thought you were tuning in for a stream about testing LED lights, and as a complete unexpected bonus, wowed by a live multimeter fix. I mean, I'm wowed. I don't really, in the kindest possible way, I don't really care if you're wowed or not. I'm wowed. Because I can't believe that actually worked. So there we are. Could have been a live disaster, but it turns out that if your multimeter is displaying odd characters and odd bars when it shouldn't be, and I mean, you know, it might even have worked without the alcohol. Might have. Just run a cloth over it. It might have worked if you don't happen to have IPA to hand, because it's not something everybody does have to hand. I had to wait months for it because a couple of years ago I mistimed it horribly. I thought to myself, I'll order some IPA to do some cleaning. I thought, no, I'll just wait a bit, and then COVID happened and everybody wanted IPA for hand wash, so it shot up to about 5,000% of the original price. Good job, says Ardo. Hello, Ardo. This is just a bit of an experiment. I know I said everybody's free to chat, but wasn't expecting anyone, let alone somebody I'd been following and that I knew. Well, I suppose statistically that's wrong. Of course I should expect somebody I'm following to follow, to tune in. They're more likely to tune in than not. Anyway, sorry, I'm just waffling. My normal streams on Twitch, so twitch.tv/Jamie Nemeth. My normal, more professional, I'm only doing it as a hobby, but my normal, more professional streams are on there. This is just an extra thing. But it's gone from LED testing. I saw testing LED strips. Sorry, Arador is saying. I saw testing LED strips in my notifications, had to stop by. Yeah, I bought these. I'll go back to it now, actually, as you hear. Did you see any of that? Or did you only see me fiddling with the multimeter? Which is good, because I fixed it. I'm chuffed with that. I don't know if this screw's rounding as well. Gosh, it's not good, is it? Anyway, it'll do. It's not quite screwing in properly, but fixed the multimeter. Yeah, that was an aside. No, I was busy with other stuff. Just managed to get here, says Arado. Okay, right. Well, I bought this basically, and you know, the eBay seller didn't ask me to prove that things weren't working. It's just one of those things where I thought to myself, if only I had a breadboard and one of those little power supplies like I've seen, you know, that fit onto the breadboard. I thought, I could just check quickly what the problem is. So I bought this, and it's meant to go on the inside of my computer case. It's just one of these RF things, and I've bought one before and it worked perfectly. This one doesn't. So this connects to a Molex connector inside the computer. This is an RF receiver and LED controller. I'll get the other strip out to show. It's a 4-pin LED. I'm possibly. I'm teaching you to suck eggs here. If you tuned in because I was testing LEDs, you probably know all this, but it doesn't be good trying to explain it badly anyway. So RF controller with the standard 4-pin, so 12 volts on the top pin, or positive voltage, but in this case it's 12 volts. 12 volts, and then the RGB pins, and this plugs into there, right? So, and it's got an RF remote. The other one just worked straight away, but apparently there's problems. Sometimes the remote becomes unpaired from the RF controller. So I tried. You're meant to hold down and speed minus, speed plus to get it to repair. I used the multimeter to check, and there is definitely 12 volts coming off this pin, so there is power going to the LED strips. But no matter what I do with this remote and this controller, even though the controller is outputting 12 volts, it's not doing any controlling. I'm pressing the buttons on the remote, so either the remote is deaf, although the light does come on, excuse me, or the controller is has failed under not that continuous testing. So what I did, was I thought, well, yeah, if only I had like something to hand, and I just fancied having this. So it's not a case that I've bought this to get money back on this. I could have easily argued that the whole thing didn't work, but I was curious. I was just curious because I thought, well, I'm pretty sure it's the controller. not the LEDs. Partly because when I was holding on to the LEDs, this isn't necessarily the greatest diagnostic technique in the world, but as I was changing the resistance, I'm guessing, or causing a slight short circuit through my skin, not great, I know, but as I was touching the strip, accidentally, the LEDs were lighting very dimly, and I thought, well, that means the LEDs aren't broken then. It might be very dim light coming out of them, but they can't be broken. Not entirely, anyway. So the idea of this was just, I got an Argos, it doesn't have to be Argos, of course, but this is just a standard multi-voltage adapter, MaxView I think it is. It was the only one that was in the shop at the time, and I decided I couldn't wait, so I bought it rather than mail order. And then this goes in, oh thanks, hello the Gamer Hub, congratulations on 300 subs, yeah, 303 now. Such a milestone, I was chuffed with that. Welcome to the side stream, if you like. Not side men, that's a different thing. I'm not part of the side men, by the way, in case you couldn't tell. My sister is a big fan of them. So yeah, this little board on the end, really handy, because it is a power supply that saves you having to have a benchtop power supply as long as you only want 12 volts, 5 volts or 3.3 volts and less than an amp, I think the 12 volts 0.8 amps and the 5 and the 3 are maybe half an amp. I don't know, the details are on the website, so it's MottramLabs. I put a tweet up actually, there's links in the tweet, they are affiliated links. So twitter.com/Jamie Nemeth or @JamieNemeth. You can find a link to exactly where I bought. This is just a breadboard. I just found the cheapest one that I liked. That was an 830 pin one because I haven't got one already. Because I've already got a smaller one lying around somewhere. I just couldn't be bothered to find it. I thought I'll just order this at the same time. And then I've got two. Oh, I've got one dedicated for my desk for when I want to tinker around with electronics. So as I say, this isn't to prove to the seller. The seller hasn't asked me. I don't want to get the seller into trouble of the LED strips by saying that I had to buy all of this just to prove it didn't work. No, I just wanted to, I was curious. And as I say, I thought this can be useful then for other projects that I've left on half because I haven't got a breadboard to hand. And this is great. So just a standard DC mains adapter into this, and it's even got a little light on it, look. I think that's very professional. This guy apparently has just made these little boards just for himself, just because he wanted to solve a problem, and it's actually got two outputs on it, which impressed me. I didn't realise. So the power rails on this breadboard, you've got a choice of putting 12 volts here if you want. So I've set it to 12 volts, but if you're doing, some circuits you need 12 volts and 5 volts. This does that. So you've got 12 volts on the top and currently 5 volts on the bottom, or you could have 5 and 5, or that'd be pointless, you got 5 on the top. You could have 5 and 3.3 if you wanted to, or I think 12 and 3.3 is going to be a bit strange, but yeah. So I like that. I really like that. The fact that you've got a choice of two different power supplies, top and bottom. I can imagine that being really useful, not necessarily to me right now, but I know that would be something very useful to a lot of people. So anyway, yeah, 12 volts for this strip. And the theory goes that if you supply 12 volts across from the positive pin to the red pin, then Arado saying, just follow me on Twitter. My handle is svpn.com. Oh, fab. I'll have a look at that. Yeah, you don't have to use the affiliate links if you don't want to. It's just another experiment. It's all experiments. I'm experimenting with affiliate links. You're more than welcome to follow it and not use the affiliate links. It's not a big deal or anything. It's just I'm experimenting. I've gone mad with it. I've got eBay partner network and Amazon affiliate, and I even signed up to Scan affiliate, but that hasn't come back yet. But only because I watched a Harris Alla video and he said set up your affiliate links, because he said if I hadn't set mine up 2 weeks before one of my videos exploded, I'd have really regretted it. And I just set it up because a friend told me set up affiliate links, and I thought I don't really want to. Can't be bothered, but I did. And it was a good thing. So, they might not come to anything for another 10 years, but I've set them up just in case. Going on the good advice, the good practice. But I've also set up Kit, so kit.co. There's no .uk at the end of that. Kit.co/Jamie Nemeth. That's where I'm sort of centralising any links to any things like that. I haven't actually put that on there yet. Just little things like this that I find useful as I go along, as well as stuff that I've put in my computer as well, and streaming kit. But yeah, paraphernalia like this, I try and stick on there as well. Ardo saying I do well with affiliate links. Yeah. Well, they're there just in case. As I say. So yeah, you're right. Should I have alcohol next to electronics? Probably not. It's not drinking alcohol. It's IPA. I put that as a caption on one of my YouTube videos. I said, because I threw in the term IPA without explanation, and I said, IPA is, it doesn't stand for pale ale. It's not India Pale Ale. It's isopropyl alcohol. I had propanol in my head, and I was trying to say, how does that spell IPA? It's isopropyl alcohol. Anyway, so yeah, this is very quick. Blink and you'll miss it. But all I did was turn on the 12-volt rail, and the immediate determination. Let's turn that light off as well. Immediate determination of whether the RF controller and remote, because I can't isolate which one of those isn't working, whether it was the RF controller and remote or whether it was the strips themselves. Ta-da! It's not the strips, because supplying 12-volt safely across them. I didn't want to plug this because it's a Molex connector. I didn't fancy using my computer whilst running as a test bed. This is a far safer test bed. I mean, like, rather than risking shorting out my computer or something. So yeah, the strips are absolutely fine. As far as I can tell, all the LEDs are. I haven't checked all the LEDs. I'm not bothered about that because one of them went on the other one. These are only cheap strips. I don't really mind, but yeah, the strips themselves absolutely work fine. So, talk about shorts. Just randomly wang the end of the strips of the metal terminals across the power supply. But yeah, I just love this as a test bed. That was the other thing as well. I think this is a fantastic test bed. I'm not an expert in LED strip testing, but there we are. I've got an LED strip test bed in theory. It can be anything. A breadboard can be set up for anything, but I could test the other strip. I've used the pins that came with it, the connector pins. Sorry, I didn't show that very well. I know it's out of focus. It's not an it's not an auto-focusing webcam, but the pin connector kit that came with the LED strips, I've put that straight into the breadboard, so that the pins are actually spaced apart by standard breadboard pin spacing. So that's handy. So one strip works. We haven't actually tested the other strip, so let's make sure the positive and negative. Right, yeah, positives go there. Ooh. There we go. Strip is fine then, like the remote, says Ardo. Yeah, is the remote RF or infrared? It's RF, Ardo. So I haven't tried the other strip, but I expect the same results. Yes, fab. So both strips are fine. So on the plus side, because the problem is this had to travel halfway around the world. I ordered one. I could have ordered one from the UK, but I ordered one from China or something, just to get the combination of the Molex connector and the RF remote and everything. So what I suspect will happen is they'll just say, like happens a few times, they say, well, it's not worth the postage back. Can we give you a partial refund? And so I think part of the reason I wanted to test was I thought, well, I'd accept a partial refund if the strips work, because then I haven't really wasted any money. All I'm doing is getting the money back for the RF bit that doesn't work, and okay, then I need to buy another RF remote, but that's easier. Or get them to send me another RF remote if they feel so inclined. But I could order that from the UK then. I could order one of these, I'm sure, separately. Because the package deal was cheaper. I don't know. I'm waffling. But yeah, I suspect very much that the remote is lighting up. There's not much to go wrong in the remote. I tried it with a brand new battery just in case it was that. Because the email I got back was, have you put a battery in the remote? And I said, yeah, I did. But I thought, okay, I'll humour them, because to be fair, it wasn't a new battery, it was an older battery. So I thought, okay, put a brand new battery in. Oh, there we are. Ardo's saying fresh batteries. Put a fresh battery into the remote. Nothing. It's just not responding to commands. But it is outputting 12 volts. Like I say, if there was something wrong with it, I'd expect it not to be working full stop. But it's outputting 12 volts and then not changing the voltage on the other pins. So even though I'm reading 12 volts to ground from that pin, it's not. There's nothing's happening on the other pins of the controller. So, and as I say, we've established both strips work perfectly. Shame, yeah, I know, because this kit altogether was. I mean, I was even impressed by the fact that, you know, it came with little magnets, which I didn't have with the other one, but the other one worked. So I suppose pros and cons. This one comes with little magnets and doesn't work. The other one didn't come with little magnets and works perfectly. Yeah, these are pretty strong magnets, to be fair. But I'm glad in some ways I tested it before I went to all the effort of threading the RGB strips into my computer case, because I'd have plugged it in and then I'd have found out it didn't work. And I'd have had to unstick it all. Yeah. There we go. The strips work. I've isolated it to either the remote or the controller. This wasn't intended to be evidence, Your Honour, but it's been live on YouTube as well. And it is a shame. But there we are. So I'm probably better tidy up, but this was only £4. This multimeter went a bit wrong, fixed it. I'm chuffed with that. If you missed that, I just had a duff segment of the LED, and I had a hunch. Pulled it apart, cleaned the connection between the circuit board and the LCD, put it back together, crossed my fingers, and it actually worked. Send the video link to the supplier after the stream. I might do like an edited version. I haven't said that. I'm not recording it locally. I'm only streaming it. Just like I say, this was a bit of a bonus stream idea. But thanks for joining me, because that's proved that, you know, I'd have done it anyway. But it's proved that this might work. I'm not saying you have to commit to this as a series, you know, but buy the LED testing box set. Oh, broke it. No, I didn't. Yeah, buy the LED testing box set on YouTube. No, I'm not going to be doing this every week. That's not what I'm saying. But it proves as a concept. If I've got anything else that I just want to do as a test bench type video, cut price Big Clive style. I'm a big fan of Big Clive, and I wouldn't compare myself to him whatsoever. Not least because nothing blew up, so that's a good. When I say that out of context, if you've never seen Big Clive, it's unfair to just say he blows stuff up. It's factually correct, but out of context, it's incorrect. So he knows a lot about electronics, goes into a lot of in-depth research about what chips are on things, and is really, really, really knowledgeable, really expert at things. But occasionally blows stuff up, sometimes accidentally, but sometimes deliberately, to sort of save us from blowing ourselves up. Because what he'll do is he'll like get stuff online, get cheap stuff or whatever, and say, well, I know this is unsafe before I start, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and test it anyway. And then he finds out it blows up, and he says, yeah, so don't buy this. So I always say, if Big Clive has reviewed something and said don't buy it, you don't buy it. You believe Big Clive. Arador says, yeah, I was curious. I like this type of video. Good stuff. Oh, cheers for that. Right. I feel a bit rude going after having compliments, but it was only meant to be a short video, and I've tested. I've got 2 LEDs to test, and I've tested both of them, and they both work. So yeah, now it's Emmerdale o'clock, Emmerdale on time shift, but yeah. I don't know what the next thing's. Oh well, it's unrelated. Well, actually, it's not. These arrived today. Anyway, I'll conclude with that, and then I'll watch Emmerdale. Let's unplug that first. I really like this. Really pleased with this. Total cost less than £10, and I've got like about 65. I think they said 65. Jump leads, patch leads, whatever you call them. It's been a long time since I did electronics, and yeah. But these also arrived today, and these do work. These are Alanzi's newest project. I've actually already got a couple of their VL49s. There's loads of YouTube videos about these. These are really cool lights and very reasonably priced as well. You can see because it's plugged in, it's lit up on the back. You can set any hue you want. So you can either have white and it can go from warm white to cool white, or you can have RGB and it's battery powered and it's got a magnet on the back, and this is probably going to blind the camera, but yeah, got it set to pink at the moment. So there we are. So I already had these and I was very happy with them, and then on Alanzi's website I saw this come up. It's their brand new project. I got it on an early bird discount, and it's a little tube and it's very bright. Extremely bright. I mean, I did some tests earlier with it at normal distance, and it could take over from my overhead lights. I mean, okay, let's take the overhead lights off. They're just standard 160 LED panels, and look, this is holding its own compared to that. I know that's very close to the table, but all right, I'll put it next to where that was. Right. The room light is on as well. Maybe a good test would be to turn the room light off. Not knock over my coffee mug at the same time. There we are. Right, the room light is now off, and I'm going to put one of these Alanzi's next to where one of my overhead 160 LED panels was. And yeah. There we go. It's at 100% brightness, having said, oh flip. It's 100% brightness, having said that, but I can't see the buttons on it now, the room lights up. It really is cut price Big Clive. At least Big Clive would have had the courtesy to say 1 moment please and do a jump cut. And then you can change mode, so it's got the full RGB on it as well, so you just hold the button down and tell. Oh no, that's the brightness button. Okay, so on the back it's got a little display, which is quite cool, and it's got different scenes on it as well. Yeah, so it's got hue and saturation. What does saturation do? Does that just makes it more white? That's quite cool. So you've got the option, unlike the other ones which are just RGB, you can choose the colour but you can't choose the saturation. These ones you can choose the saturation on them. So that's cool. Didn't quite fully realise that. And then the hue button, yeah, now that I've got the right one set, yeah. So you can set it to any hue you want, and it's, you know, in degrees like on your colour palette on the computer as well. So it's 81 degrees at the moment, which to me looks like a lime green. The colour's auto white balance, so I've thrown it there. The camera has auto white balance rather. But yeah, I didn't know you could change the saturation as well. But then it also comes with these presets, which are, some are more useful than others. That apparently is fireworks. Snazzy. I wouldn't call it fireworks, but it's got like TV or flashing light warning. Yeah, TV just sort of gives you a background ambience of something flickering. That's quite cool. Candle, haven't tried that. Oh, that's quite cool. That's a nice preset actually. Just gives a nice warm light, isn't it? Yeah. Party. Faulty bulb. Yeah. It simulates a faulty light. That's quite funny. And then pulsing, and then strobe. Ow. I did warn you, right? Paparazzi, emergency. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. Just in case anybody tunes in randomly. But I like the lightning one. The lightning one just gives you like a random. So you could dot these around the way they show it in the video. You could dot them around a car or something and pretend if you're in a low budget film. And I bought a few of these. In theory, they stick together, but that's the slightly disappointing side of it, is that whilst they do, you're not going to be... Oh, magnet's the wrong way around. Like, you can do that, So you could. What's handy about that is that you can stick them together and line them up, rather than have to have the situation where you're trying to lay them in a straight line. You can't. So I can imagine. So the fact the magnetic helps, but it's not going to support the full weight, as you can see. I had visions of putting a stick of these together. It's not really designed for that. I mean, you can stand them vertically and it'll stay just about. But you don't want that in a live gig setup, something where somebody could knock into it. They're just going to knock them over, and you're going to end up with one of them attached to the tripod, and 4 broken ones. But having said that, I mean, you could get grub screws, I suppose, and put them in. They're 1/4 inch 20 screws on the top, and there's magnets on the back as well. So, yeah, it's handy that mixing desk is handily magnetic. Obviously, you can't access the buttons if you put the back side of it onto something, but yeah, it gives you lots of possibilities. I like them. I might not need to have bought so many of them, so maybe I'll end up selling some of them or giving some of them to people who need them. I don't know, because I had visions of sticking sticks of them together, and that's not quite going to happen now. Yeah, very versatile little lights. They arrived today. They've got their own battery. Well, as you saw, there was no lead plugged into them, so they've got their own battery power. Should last. It depends on the power. If you got them set to lower powers, the VL49s apparently last up to 10 hours on a battery. 4 hours is probably more realistic. So these have got a bigger battery in them. So I don't actually know how long they'd last, but you'd certainly get an hour out of them if they're anything like the other ones at full power. And half power, you might get even more. Yeah, right. I'll have a scroll through your Twitter links, says Harado. Yeah, and the kit links as well. So let me say that in chat as well. kit.co/Jamie Nemeth. It's just that's another Harris Howler, straight out of the Harris Howler playbook. But I saw him pop up on there, and I'd never seen the site before. But it's just a very handy place that you can drop eBay, Amazon, any other website links into, and it'll automatically pick up the product images and put them in there, and then you can share that kit to someone else. So if I've just said my current stream kit, but you could say, as Harris has done, basic stream kit, advanced stream kit, expensive, cheap, or whatever. And then I could set one up for the electronics. I could say, well, this is I've just put this in paraphernalia right now. I could just put an electronics kit together, LED test bed kit, and then share that kit to somebody, and which is a very convenient way of putting your affiliate links together. Yeah, right. Emmerdale. Cheers for joining me. Thanks for the positive feedback as well. And catch you soon, either on here or on Twitch. I'll put my Twitch link up. So the Twitch stream is much more Twitch streamy, I suppose. I'm often playing games, not always. I do just chatting on there as well. And then YouTube, well, I haven't decided, you see, because there's that's going into a bit of a big debate. But lots of people are jumping ship from Twitch to YouTube. I'm not going to jump ship yet, but I am sort of spreading my eggs into different baskets and trying out YouTube streaming. But again, I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know whether the YouTube streaming proper, with everything set up, is going to be just the Twitch stream but on YouTube, or whether I should, like tonight, be using YouTube for different things. For things that aren't, I mean, it has been interactive. I'm trying not to say the wrong words. It's interactive in terms of chat, so it's like inviting people to come along and watch me work or something, which is quite nice. But a very different environment than Twitch, where you're face front, and, or at least my Twitch. Some people treat YouTube like Twitch, and vice versa. And some people do art streams on Twitch and IRL stuff. Arado saying I'm creating a competitor to both. Ooh, get in there. Well, that is breaking news, exclusive on my YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on your Twitter. That I was going to anyway, but yeah. follow stonking on Twitter. Right, I will do that. As I say, yeah, well, that sounds like you've got an awareness of exactly what's going on Twitch at the moment then, but yeah, I mean, as I say, I don't know, some people are saying, jumping platform won't change anything. Some people are saying jumping platform is a really bad idea, and I think, yeah, just dropping Twitch completely right now when it's gaining some momentum would be a terrible idea. But at the same time, I'm thinking, yeah, but the more that's going wrong, the more it's like, how much do I want to be associated with this? It's awful, isn't it? But, I know I'm in my own little bubble at the moment, but even I've had problems that other streamers, particularly marginalised streamers, have had. Even I've experienced it on the fringes. So, and then some people are saying, well, yeah, but YouTube could be the same. It's like, well, I don't know. The theory was that if all the streamers from Twitch moved to YouTube, the bad elements, the bad actors as they're so called, but the bad elements are only going to follow the creators from Twitch to YouTube anyway, which is true. Yeah, you can't really avoid that. But personally, I don't know. I think that YouTube's improving things at a rate of knots, as people are saying. So I don't know. It could be up in the air. It could be. It's a game of, not a game of two halves. That's the wrong analogy. It's a game of something. Can't think of a cliche. YouTube screwed me over, says Arado. That's why I'm working on a new platform. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a very relevant embodiment of that. This person made these little circuit boards because they were stuck and wanted a solution to their particular problem, and then went, this could be handy for other people as well. So this is a literal analogy for that. If you get to a point where what's available is not doing what you want, and or things are going wrong, then yeah, it's a good idea to reinvent it. Sometimes you should reinvent the wheel, because then you get a better wheel. I don't know. Right, Emmerdale, and food, more importantly, before I go completely bonkers. Cheers for joining me, and it's just weird because I haven't got all my Twitch comforts. I normally have a stream ending scene. I don't have any scenes here. This is it. It's this. We need more small verticals, I think, says Arado. Big tech has gotten too big. Yeah. I mean, wasn't that proved when loads of news websites all simultaneously went down one day? And didn't Twitter go with it as well? I can't remember, but basically everything was offline and everybody was in a blind panic because it was all going through the same CDNs, the same CDN provider, and that went off. We're learning in our software development course about single point failure. Blimey. If everything's going through CDNs and APIs and there's nothing bad about APIs, by the way, but all of those APIs are going through the same CDN. I haven't explained that for anybody who is listening and wondering what on earth I'm on about. So essentially, there's the website you see, but then the content sometimes comes from somewhere else, and a CDN is a content delivery network. So the content, I don't know, it'd be a bit like you've got lots of different libraries, but all of the books are actually stored in a central storage area. And when you want the books, like in a library, you go up to the library and you say, can you get the book from the store? Well, imagine the library didn't have any books and all books had to be got from the store. And you go to your local library and they say, oh, the store's closed, sorry. And you can't get any books in the library because they're reliant entirely on the central store. That's not how any library works in the world, but that's how some websites had come to rely on CDNs. And when the CDN went down, the entire thing just fell apart, it seems like, on that one day. That one day in 2020, whenever it was. Arado saying, I'm more worried that they have too much say over who gets to earn and who doesn't. Yeah, I mean, it can just change the criteria like that. I mean, it didn't used to be 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, now it is. I used to be able to get a YouTube username just because I wanted one. now I had to wait till I had 100 subscribers before I could get a YouTube username. So yeah, the goalposts can easily change. I suppose that's one thing Twitch has got right, in that they've not changed the goalposts. They change the goalposts for partner all the time, and people don't know what the goalposts are. But for affiliate, they seem to have been fairly stable and fairly achievable. Arador saying, I've started coding using Cloudflare. I can't speak. Cloudflare workers. The code runs on 200 plus edge locations with no cold start, and that sounds, brilliantly redundant. Redundant in a technical sense. Please understand that. It's got redundancy built in. That's a better way to phrase it. Which doesn't sound like an insult. Anyway, I will keep apprised with that. Really better head off. Sorry, it's going to be abrupt end to stream. As I say, without my Twitch normal home comforts, can't do raids. But I can recommend Arador's channel, but I don't know if you're live right now. I'm guessing not. But you can sort of pretend that we're doing a raid. Catch you soon. Cheers for joining me. Oh, no, wait. I should be good. I haven't got an exclamation mark Discord, have I? So I can't quite do that. But what I can do is to say, if I wanted to be really slick, is to say, keep the conversation going. I do have a Discord server, which is, for those who don't know what Discord is, a chat server. I can send a link to that, then I can sign off. Right. I just need to get the link myself, because nothing's prepared. Where's that? At the top. Copy link. Paste link. There we go. So that's a link to Discord, where I normally update people on stuff, but at the moment we're talking about the prospect of a scientific abacus, so that's quite cool. That's in the main chat thread at the moment, and stuff to do with stream maintenance and stuff. But there's also a VIP lounge. I've been messing about with that as well. Right, okay.